Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Frozen Frontier, Yaromir's Flashbacks. So you've had your nice little break with Amelie down by the river, going fishing. Cat.
Now you're gonna train yourself to do that when we play the real game. You're never gonna get it right.
The cat down by the river. How long do you fish?
Well,
Is it like an all-day thing? Is it like an hour?
I think more than an hour, less than an all-day thing, right? Like an afternoon, right?
Sorry,
like
are you coming back in the late afternoon or the evening, or when do you come home?
I think. Okay, so I guess let's assume it's a short, like maybe hour walk to my cottage outside the village. So I get there in the morning. We have this talk where I try to reassure her, and maybe that takes a couple hours. So maybe we head out around midday, come back like late afternoon.
Late afternoon. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's enough time that we've rafted or fished or hiked for enough time that we get to this kind of sense of normalcy, and we come back and we still have time to like have a day, right? We can
Sure.
we basically I don't ignore my wife for like an entire day.
Right, that's not always a good idea. Sometimes. You come home, you brought some fish, you're probably like scaling them, taking the guts out. Your wife might be the hunter, but you're the anatomy specialist, so this is probably your vein.
Yeah.
When there's a disturbing note in Victoria's voice, when she calls Yaromir from the front room. I guess that you're probably in the front room. It's all one big room, but
it's all one big room. Yeah.
Yeah, from the other side of the room.
I kind of sat down. I'm doing yes, dear.
You take a look, and you can see torchlight coming from out the windows. Someone is approaching.
I kind of put down my fish guts, I guess, and I don't even wash my hands. I guess I just walk out with bloody hands because Yaromir does that type of stuff. He doesn't think much of it, and he'll go to the doorway and say like, perhaps I should talk with them, Victoria. Would you like to come meet them as well, or would you prefer I handle it?
I don't know what they're talking about. Maybe we should let them visit you here.
This is not a bad plan. Perhaps they would like some tea. I will continue preparing fish. Could you let them in?
Yeah. Cat.
We caught enough fish maybe to feed them all?
We'll see.
Okay.
Cat pokes her head out the window, kind of watching, and she starts counting. I'm not sure what she's counting. Which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Dad, 10.
No, you missed one. What comes after 8?
Dad!
Oh, yes, Cat. What is it?
She points out the window, and you see she's counting the number of torches that she sees.
Okay.
There's 12, 13, 14, 15. There's a lot of people out here.
Well, this is definitely
torches.
more people than I have fish for. I'll go ahead and walk outside and go to greet them. Like, hello. What brings you to my cottage?
What? It's no coincidence, says the forefront person, that your house is glowing, and days later, people are dying from the plague.
I say this is not my doing.
Your house just happens to magically glow, and then people start dying, and you see little Ginger, and she miscarries some twisted demon.
Look, this is not my doing. I
What
promise.
about Barry, huh? Did you send your little friends to kill Barry?
No, I did no such thing. I had just seen them when you came here, Gary. Look, I am as concerned and confused about the lighting issue in my house as you are. And I did what I could with the play.
The lighting issue in your house.
I did what I could for you in the plague. I did as much as possible. I saved as many as I could. This plague was not my doing. If I wanted the plague to kill you, why would I risk myself and my wife to heal you?
The crowd starts yammering amongst themselves, and there are loud shouts of traitor, shouts of witch, shouts of crazy foreigner, get out of here, we don't want your kind. Gary is the forefront person. He says, yeah, sure, you didn't whatever plague you caused, I'm sure wouldn't affect you. Your family seemed to have pulled through just fine. Your wife was able to even stand up and keep the crowd at bay while she was sick. Yeah, we know what your kind is. Sorcerer, warlock.
Look, if I had magic powers, I would. Well, I do. This is bad argument I have. Give me one moment to recalibrate argument.
That's exactly what I thought.
This is. Look,
we're not gonna take any more of your witchcraft shit around here. Weird things have been happening ever since you showed up. Strange things.
If you do not wish to heed the fates, you do not have to. I only provide this service if you wish it. If you wish to not come see me, this is fine. But there is no reason to be here with pitchforks and torches. I have done nothing but serve this community. I promise you this.
Their arguing is not really going down. You see a couple of people just throw torches generally at your house, not actually onto the roofing. They're not trying to burn it down, but just angrily throwing their things towards your front yard, your little fenced in garden. Some vegetables get tossed. Maybe one of them grazes you or something.
Okay. I can't really tell people. I mean, look. Okay. Basically, I say, look. Please do not do something here you will regret. There is no reason to harm my family or me. We will leave your village in peace if you so require. We do not need to have violence here today.
Good.
Go back to your houses. Grieve with your family.
Gary turns around and kind of calls for the crowd's attention. They quiet down a little bit for him, and he says from kind of a raised section. I think you're maybe on a slight hill. He shouts. He says he's gonna leave. We've got rid of the witch, guys. He'll be gone. Good work, everybody. Good work. Stumptown owes you all a debt of gratitude. He turns around and spits at your feet, and the crowd marches off.
I misinterpret what Gary just did, because what I said was I'll leave you all alone, and he said that I'll leave. And obviously this is a miscommunication, but Yarmir doesn't understand that. He kind of quietly nods towards Gary and is like, thank you, Gary. I appreciate your understanding. And I kind of go about picking up these torches, making sure they don't burn everything, right? Yarmir thinks okay, this has been averted. Gary at least understands. He's on my side, right? Yarmir is reassured despite the threats of violence.
Yeah. Your night doesn't go all that well. I guess you have awkward fish time.
Very, very awkward. Yeah. That is not a fun meal. Dinner. Yeah.
And when you wake up the next morning, you find that in the night someone has come and dumped a bucket of blood or something, probably animal's blood on your door, probably God knows where they got it from. Maybe the butcher, maybe they slaughtered something, but your house has also been like defaced in the night, in the middle of the night.
Okay. Well, I said about washing that off. I think it's because it's becoming apparent to Yaromir that even with perhaps the support of Gary, it might be time to start looking towards moving along. But Yaromir is confident that the Fates said it's safe here, and that he has an ally in Gary. Right? He doesn't think he has to move right now. He thinks that perhaps this will pass, but he is thinking of like, do I want my family to live in this kind of like terror? And so he begins formulating the like, okay, do we move my family into the Elven lands and continue this quest, or do we move somewhere else? Right? Do we move to a different town? Do we go down to Bridgegate or Gold Hill or some other village near Half Hill even? Mm-hmm. And like these thoughts are the ones that are consuming him. Like, do I push on in this quest to like find the people with magic in their blood, or do I push on like somewhere else, right? Or do I give up on this part of my kind of existence so that these people that I care about are safer? Or he's pretty convinced that they're safe, but the Fates are not fickle, but vague, right? Safety might be assured, but not like, no harm might come to them, but they might live in terror. So he's thinking, perhaps it's time to start, doing some property shopping, that type of thing.
Gotta go find a realtor
to consume him.
Yeah. Okay, so later that afternoon, probably around the time you're finishing cleaning up all the blood off of your walls and your door, Kat, I got it right this time, is sitting pretty terrified inside the house. And Victoria is trying to talk to her and be like, well, these people don't understand. We have these strange accents. Your father's accent's particularly harsh, and they don't get it. And we haven't done anything wrong. We're fine, but these people they're just upset that everyone's died, and they're looking for someone to blame. They're blaming us, and it's wrong, but they're sad. And what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
But a rider comes up. From the south, fairly breathless. I guess the horse is fairly breathless. The rider is maybe a little sore, and says, "Rider, like a horse rider."
I was like, "What's George R. R. Martin doing here?"
And a hawk dismounts, comes over to you, and says, "Are you the one they call Yaromir the Strange?"
I do not know about this strange thing. I think I am the most normal person in this town. However, my name is Yaromir, yes.
I come from Half Hill. We heard that you had a disease, a plague up here recently. Well, it's hit Half Hill, and
this is a terrible thing. This disease.
The mayor, well, not the mayor, his lordship, our leader, our ruler is sick.
It is perhaps even worse than that. This disease is fast and very contagious. We will need to collect your healers and teach them on how to best treat this disease.
Can you come today, right now?
I kind of look to Victoria and Amelie, or to, damn it, now I'm doing it, Victoria and Kat, and I kind of looked at them and was like, yes, I believe I can come today. I kind of walk in and I'm sure they can hear this, right? They're in this kind of like one room house, and I look at them and I say, I must go heal people. It is important for me to do what I can for them. I perhaps am the only one that can teach these healers the way to do it before it's too late.
Are you sure it's safe?
I will. I kind of think on that and I say, I think it is safe. The Fates have said we are safe here. I believe in my own powers. I also believe perhaps if I curry favor with the Lord of Half Hill, perhaps we could move from this place. We might be happier in a village that understands our worth.
Victoria nods in agreement. Says, "Okay, well, take care then."
Okay.
Little cat shakes her head and says, "No, Dad, don't go."
I kind of kneel before her and I'm like, "It's okay, cat. When I come back, we will have many days of fishing and
No, don't go. Don't leave us.
It will only be for short time. I promise. Here, give big hug."
She gives you a big hug and just doesn't let go. Like you stand up and she's still on you, like clutched onto you. Yeah.
I stand up and kind of like lift her over and hand her to Victoria and like, all right, we must part now, but I will be back as soon as possible. Last time took 4 days. Hopefully, with more advanced knowledge, I can treat it quicker, or perhaps teach the other healers there how to do it. And then I kind of like, I'm assuming the rider has room for me to get on. I'm only like 60 pounds.
Right. Victoria leans in, gives you a kiss, tells you to be safe. Cat bursts into tears and just starts crying. "Don't go, Daddy, don't go!"
Oh no.
The rider gives you his horse and says he'll walk back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do I know how to get to Half Hill?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Can't miss it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a riding proficiency, so I'm not fantastic at this, but I'll ride to Half Hill.
Yeah. You get to Half Hill, and there's already somebody like at the it's not really a gate, but like on the road waiting for you. They direct you to the Lord. The Lord is a halfling. About half the population of Half Hill is a halfling.
Okay.
And
awesome. Yeah. So basically, when I get there, I say, we had this plague come through Stumptown. Is very contagious, very fast acting. We need to have. Please bring me the other healers so I can instruct them on ways to help the rest of your town, or otherwise you will have half a population in Half Hill.
Okay. The other healers, you're brought the people who might know something about this. You're brought midwives, barbers, anyone that with any sort of medical knowledge whatsoever is brought to you.
Okay.
And you work with them and the people of Half Hill. I'd like you to make me 2 healing checks.
Okay.
One for how well you can teach the people, and one for how well you can treat the Lord of Half Hill.
Okay, that sounds good. So this is the first one is for the teaching.
Ooh.
I'm a savant. I know what I'm doing, but I'm very bad at telling it to others, is what I get. All right, and so, I don't know. I do my best to teach them. Maybe it doesn't hold. Oh, it's a one. Maybe teach them the wrong shit. Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah, and maybe they're not taking well to you, and some of them, like, right, they brought their barbers who are sort of surgeons, but they don't really know anything about healing. And it's just, there's panic. People are dying of disease.
Oh, it's a mess. It's a nightmare. And then to heal the Lord, it's a 32 and a crit.
His lordship pulls through after 3 days. You got here 1 day into the disease, or one day later than you got into Stumptown last time.
Yeah.
And thanks you profusely. Hands you a sack of 100 pieces of gold. That's 10,000 copper. That's a hefty.
It is
a very hefty amount, and offers to help you find a house if you would like to move to Half Hill. I think somewhere in the way that gets mentioned and passed on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I thank the I guess speaker of the Lord, and maybe I talk with them about finding a home here, and this is probably the most money I've ever owned at one time, although perhaps not even close to what I've seen. Like I was a pet of the matriarchy, and they're very wealthy, but I didn't own any of it because I was a guy. So I don't know. It's kind of I have a weird connection to the money. Like I understand its value very well, but I've never owned it this much.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very, like it probably takes me a moment or two to process that. Like, oh wow, like I can own real property. Like I have, like this is a lot of money. And so yeah, I go about thanking them. I do what I can for the other healers. Obviously, my teaching's just completely unwelcome here. But eventually, after all of that, I'll begin assume walk. No, I can, for 25 gold, I can buy a riding horse. It's my horse.
75 gold is a riding horse.
Oh shit. Well, no.
You can buy a donkey for 8 GP.
Great. I buy a donkey to ride home.
All right.
Family donkey.
What do you name your donkey?
Buttercup.
Nice.
Buttercup the donkey.
All right. You hop on Buttercup and head on home. It's a pretty easy journey back north. Finding your home is not too bad. But when you arrive to where your building ought to be, where your house ought to be, all you find are cinders, ash, and a couple of posts that are mostly charred.
I kind of pull up short and just am like stunned for a moment as I peer upon like the ashes of what was my house, and then immediately I think, oh my god, was my family in here? And just like I don't even kick the donkey, like I just dismount and like sprint into like the ashes and begin like looking through to see if there's like my family in there.
Yes, they are in there.
Yarmir just like collapses, right, in utter grief and disbelief, right, and just like for just an unknowable amount of time just like stares at the like loss of these people that were dear to him, right, and he just stares, right, and doesn't even cry. It's just like he goes pale white and it's just quiet. It's probably the quietest this portion of the like cottage has ever been. Like this hill up here is just deathly silent. And after seconds, days, hours, who knows how long it's been as he sat here, he just kind of finally kind of begins to cry a little bit. So the tears come down his eyes, and you can see his hand begin to just kind of fiddle with this black twisted dagger that he carries at his side. And just kind of, just for a few minutes, he just kind of pulls out and looks at it, and stands up and just begins walking covered in ash towards the city.
Well, you find Stump Town.
Yeah.
You pretty much know where everyone lives. It's not that big of a little village. It's 150, maybe 200 people. So like, 15, 20, 30 families.
I just walk to the edge of it and I stop. And just for a brief moment, like logic just like throws itself to the front of my mind. And I realize I'm just a man with a dagger, magic dagger, but a dagger. I can't just walk in and kill these people. And he just kind of crouches at the edge of the forest. And like, he's like partially primal, but like his brain just like was enough to save him for just a moment. And he begins to think, and all he can think about is how he's going to kill Gary and his sons.
It's getting late. It was a bit of a journey on your donkey who was stubborn and not that helpful. And then God knows how long you spent in the ashes of your home. And there's Gary as you're sitting and waiting, coming back in with his sons.
Oh, he's coming
home.
in from the forest.
From
like
the forest, they've got their tools over their shoulders.
Oh, okay. I just begin like creeping as silently as I can through the like underbrush until I can get up to them.
The area around his house is pretty well cleared. He's a woodsman. He's very good at clearing the brush.
But isn't he leaving the forest?
Oh yeah, he's leaving the forest, going to his house.
Oh, I see him going into his house.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. I know that it's gonna get late, so I'm just going to wait. I'll begin walking to it when I know that like everyone goes in for the night. At this point, I have all the time I need. My vengeance will be brutal, but I can wait an hour if need be. So I wait until it gets dark, and then I'm going to creep my way into the town and up to Gary's door.
Can you make me a perception check, please?
15.
Okay, it's all right. You get to the house.
I only roll well or terribly. There's no in between.
Yep. 20s and 2s.
And ones. I've rolled like 3 ones this session.
Yeah.
Okay, I creep my way up there, and then I don't know if he has a locked front door or not, but I guess I'll try it. I'm just gonna.
Not in this podunk little town. There's no locks on any doors. They can't afford it.
So it's dark. It's night. I just swing it open, like slow. I don't like bust in the door, Kool-Aid man. Oh yeah. I'm like sliding the door open, like not like slowly and peering through. I'm just like quietly sliding it open.
Right.
And I just walk in, and I kind of know the layout of these houses, right? They're all built mostly the same, and I just go looking for basically his bedroom, right? Like I'm gonna stab this dude.
They all live. He has a one-room house. It's
okay.
It's a little bit larger than your house, actually.
Okay.
But there's no division of rooms. There's a little fire going, just the embers of a fire going. You can see 3 figures kind of rolled up in sleeping bags, or on little beds, little cots near the fireplace. There's a large one, a medium one, and a small one.
He's a woodcutter. He's gonna have rope, right?
Yeah.
I tie up Gary. But I like put something over his mouth so that he's not gonna scream, and like I tie him up. I'm gonna have to tie him up first. I'm not strong enough to hold him. I have 6 strength.
So how do you tie up someone who's asleep without waking them up? That seems that seems very.
I want him
difficult.
awake. I just want him to. Okay,
you want him to witness his children's death?
Yes. That's why I asked how sadistic I want to be. So I take a rope and I reach under his cot and I just cinch it down until it is like wrapped in. I wrap his like arms and torso together into his cot essentially and just tie him down. And then of course he's gonna wake up as I cinch it tight. I put my blade underneath his neck and I tell him, if you scream, your kids will die slowly.
Ooh. Well, he wakes and you can kind of like feel his heart beating rapidly and his breath coming out hot, but he doesn't scream.
I nod at him, and I take like a little bit of like cloth and I just like gag him essentially. Like I tie a gag around his mouth. Mm-hmm. And then I go to each of his children and I just slit their throat in front of him. I don't
After
do
the
it
first
in a way.
one, he starts and thrashing and rocking around. You don't have a rope use proficiency, do you?
No.
Okay. I'm just going to give him a strength check to see if he can break free of your knots. No. A natural 6 will not do it for us. He does not have 15 strength.
I quickly end the lives of his children. I don't make them suffer.
The first kid is easy. The second kid wakes up and realizes what's going on. Or maybe not realizes what's going on, but realizes the danger of the room.
basically, I feel like if I move quickly enough, I can just like get his throat. Maybe it's not as clean and simple, but
give me an initiative roll.
Okay. Remind me, dagger weapon speed. It's really
10
low.
plus 2.
Plus 2. Okay.
Yes, sir.
6. Not bad.
Ooh, but not quite fast enough. The kid makes it for the door, opens it, and just like starts beelining out the door.
Okay.
And I think
I turned to Gary then.
Well, hold on. I think you're going for your dagger, and you have like this murderous rage inside of you, and maybe a kind of a unknown to you what's really happening. Your hands kind of form some weird gestures, and a pulse of light appears from your chest, streaking through the door, striking the kid, who just topples down on the dirt.
Yes. Yeah. Just like in like almost like a trance of rage. Yes.
You're not even sure how you did that. You don't know if you could reproduce it, but something happened. Now there's a hole in your shirt.
Right. And it just, yes. And then I don't even take a moment to think about this realization, right? Like maybe in the future I will. But I turn around to Gary, and I just like look at him and say, "This is what you wrought." And I just plunge the twisted black dagger into his heart and watch the light leave his eyes, and I leave it there. I just leave the dagger in his chest, and I essentially just like run off into the forest away from this town. I run north. I run into the Elven Forest.
All right. And I think that's where we leave Yaromir's flashbacks for today. We will be doing more of these in the future. I think we've done one for every character now, and basically anytime that we can't put together a full cast for a show, we'll be doing a flashback. I think we've got 3 stages, 2 more for Ryan to do that we're aware of, 2 more for Sean to do that we're aware of. Not Sean, Nick. I don't know how many we have for Ferris coming up, and I don't know how many we have for Yaromir coming up. Hopefully we won't get through all of these. Hopefully we'll have normal shows all the time and it'll be great, but there will be some problems in the weeks ahead. So there will be more flashbacks. Greg, do you have anything to say?
That was a lot better of a session than I thought it would be. I'm very happy with the way that turned out.
Pretty well.
It ended on a bit of a sad note, but it was an excellent flashback.
We all know that Yaromir ends up without a family. So right. I think we knew from the get-go that they weren't going to stick around.
Right.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get more Frofro. I need Ferris to start eating people again, and William to yell at me for not following commands, and Grimes to do more Batman shit. I'm ready. Mm-hmm. I'm going through withdrawals.
I think we have a session this Sunday. Is Ryan still out this Sunday?
I think Ryan's... See, I actually think Ryan's traveling the next 2 weeks, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he's out through 9/4. Damn. Yeah. All right, so we'll have to do another flashback next weekend. But the weekend... then Nick is out the next week.
Yeah, and then Nick's out in his vacations. I think it might be another month before we are all together.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
he's away on the 3rd and the 10th. So our next full game will be on the 17th of September, which is so far away. That's in 3 weeks from now. Right? Yeah, 3 weeks from now, we will have our next full game, which I have been preparing for a while now. And I think we're going to be entering the effective Chapter 2 of Frozen Frontier this next session or the one after that. Things are going to move. So we'll see you next week for another flashback, and we will see you Tuesday through Saturday for regular streaming and D&D shows of that kind. Greg, it's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
We'll see
You're
you
great.
guys. We'll see you guys later.